Hello and welcome back to more Invitation to Puzzles. Today we have a standard arrow puzzle by Pallando. I think this is Pallando's first appearance in this series, though not their first appearance on the channel by any means. And Pallando ended up in this by submitting this puzzle, which you too can do if you hop on the Zeta Math Discord. If you have any puzzles you think would be appropriate for the Invitation to Series puzzle, or Invitation to Puzzles series, by all means, please do hop on by. All right, so what are standard arrow rules? So these things in the grid, they're called arrows. They have a circle, and the circle needs to contain the sum of the digits along the arrow. So for example, if this was 4, 2, and 3, those digits sum to 9, we would be obligated to put a 9 in the circle. Okay. Now, a couple things jumped out at me while I was getting the camera set up. So one of them is that long arrows generally have to have a fairly large sum, because if you have 3 digits in a Sudoku puzzle, the smallest they could possibly be is 1, 2, 3, which is already as big as 6. And actually, we have this symmetry running around the grid, whereby each of these sort of swirly water things, what's that effect called with the Coriolis effect or something? Where each of these is length at least 3, and so these actually have to be all at least 6, which means they all have to be from 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's already a quadruple, meaning that because these digits are 6, 7, 8, and 9 each, they have to be one of each 6, 7, 8, and 9. And so namely, I need to put the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in these cells. But when I do that, I definitely have to put the 5 in the circle, because if I put the 5 on the arrow, then I have a digit that's 5 plus something equals a number that's 1, 2, 3, or 4. That's not going to work, so I can fill that in. And the other thing I saw was that we have some Sudoku happening with 8s, and indeed actually also with 9s. So the 8 in box 6 here, but I'm going to put on row column labels. You didn't see anything? Uh-oh. I did not put on row column labels. What did I actually do? God knows. Hopefully nothing is horribly broken. I don't know what it did. Looks good. It's still got my sound. I don't seem to have turned that off. The It's 6 o'clock alarm is still working. Okay. Well, we're going to ask which of these digits is 8. Because the 8 in box 6 needs to go in one of these cells. And if it goes in one of these cells, then I need to add 2 digits to it to get that number, which would mean I'd need 2 digits to sum to 1, which isn't going to happen. So actually, that digit has to be the 8. Which if we chase around, that makes that the 9, that the 7. And so we might as well do the same thing. And in fact, the same thing's actually a little bit easier with 9s, because the 9s in this box go in one of these 3 cells. But now if I try and put a 9 on here, I'm going to have to make the other 2 digits add to a negative number in order to get a sum of 6 or 8, which is not going to happen. So that's certainly going to be a 9. Now, the nice thing about 7 specifically is that there's only one way to make a sum of 7 in 3 digits that all see each other. And so I said before the minimum is 1, 2, 3, which would be 6. So that's the only way to make 6. But the only way I can increase that number by 1 is to replace the 3 with a 4. If I try not to use a 2, for example, I've already lost, because if I don't use a 2, the minimum total I can make is 1 plus 3 plus 4, which is already 8. So I get this 1, 2, 4 triple here. So again, reminding you that what that being a triple means is that none of these cells can be 1, 2, or 4. I also see a quadruple that comes from this arrow over here. Namely, I'm going to be a little gross here. You'll just have to forgive me. The largest number I can possibly use on an arrow that sums to at most 8 is a 5. But this digit in particular can't be a 5, and the reason I point that out is because it gives me a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple in the column, meaning that these digits, 2 of which are on arrows, are from 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, now lots of these see lots of digits by Sudoku, so I'm going to clean those up. But I think this is the one that's most fruitful to look at, because if I were to make this digit an 8, I see that it would force the circle to be a 9, because the only thing I could add to the 8 without overflowing my top allowed sum is a 1. But 8 plus 1 is 9, which this circle sees. So this has to be a 6, meaning that's a 9. So that gives us the 7 and the 8. Speaking of, now because there is an 8 on an arrow, that's a 9 and a 1, which makes these two a 2-4 pair, looking at that cell, making it a 1. Okay, that's going to do a bunch of very nice things. But let's go back and handle this first, because the total of this arrow has to be more than 6. But it's not 7 or 9, so the only thing it can possibly be is 8, which means this digit has to be a 2. It means that's a 6, and that's an 8. Now, this arrow, as previously noted, now has to be 1, 2, 3, with the 2 being there. And another common arrow sum that I saw pop up is this 9 arrow. Normally, there's 3 ways to do 9 in 3 cells that see each other, which are 1, 2, 6, 1, 3, 5, and 2, 3, 4. But the convenient thing here is that none of these cells are 1 because of the 1 that we plonked up here. So these actually have to be 2, 3, 4. But the order is at least somewhat sorted out by this 1, 2, 3 triple coming from the 6 arrow. Namely, we've got this 1, 2, 3 looking here, and hence this digit is a 4. Okay, so now I want to look at this 8 arrow, which doesn't use a 2 or a 3. And so if you think about it, I could either be 1, 7, and in fact, that's what I have to be, because the other ways to do it would be 2, 6, which I'm not for 2 reasons, because there's a 2 in the box and a 6 in the box, or 3, 5, which I'm not, because there's a 3 in the box living in this 2, 3 pair. So this has to be 1, 7. Which is good to know. Now, we can also do this 8 arrow, this 3-cell 8 arrow over here. You can convince yourself that the minimum this arrow can possibly sum to, owing to this 2, is 1, 3, 4. But that already is 8. So the minimum it can sum to is 8. So this, in fact, is what this arrow is. Normally, there's a second 3-cell 8 arrow. The other one is 1, 2, 5. If you do a lot of these puzzles, you'll come to sort of just know these things instinctively. But you can recover this without... there aren't any huge secrets about 3-cell arrow sums. Okay, that 1, 2, 4 here looks over and means that this can only be a 3. Okay, so we've got a 1 and a 4 here. We need to make the sum to 9. It seems to me like this can be 2, 7 or 3, 6. I don't think I know which one it is yet. Let's see. Okay, well, it might help if I notice that there's also a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple running across. I wonder how long that's been there. Probably a pretty long time, I'm going to guess, because we used the 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple vertically, and so very nicely, this is I've been talking a lot in my Sudoku class lately about grid aesthetics and sort of senses of puzzle aesthetics. Repeating this logic here is definitely a very nice aesthetic choice of, we've used the same quadruple that we used vertically, we're now using it horizontally to say that that's a 7 and a 1. And that these remaining cells are 6, 8, and 9. And now, conveniently, that one can only be 9. This is a 6 or an 8 now, but it can't be an 8 because this would be a 1, and we've already put the 1 and the 4 in these 2 cells. So this needs to be a 6 with a 3, making that an 8. So no 3 here, no 1 here. Now, I can clean these things up a little bit, because that can't be a 3, so that means that can't be a 2. This can't be a 1, which means that can't be a 4. In fact, this is odd, so this just has to be even, is just how that works. And now I've got a 2-4 pair in the column, which sorts out the 1 and the 3 like that. So that bounces around and sorts out that whole thing. Beautiful, beautiful. If I fill in the right digits, it works even better. So we've got all of that. Very nice, very nice. Okay, so now in this row, I'm looking to place a 2, which has to go there because of that 2, and a 5, which has to go there. That's a 4 to finish the box. These 2 digits seem to be a 5 and a 7, and I seem annoyingly not to know which direction they go in. Let's see. I do know that that digit's not a 1. Okay. I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to try and use Sudoku. So if I look at 9s in box 9, it's going to get placed here. I find that double-clicking to look at all the digits very helpful when I'm looking at my Sudoku thing, because now it places the remaining 9, and that's the only 9 left in the grid. So we can do that. Okay, so the 8 is actually placed there, and there's one more 8, and it's there, I want to say. It makes me a more effective scanner. I don't see anything with that right away. I do see that this digit is a sum of 2 digits, neither of which can be 1, one horizontally and one vertically. So these are at least 2 and 4, if you look at them. In fact, actually, this one I see actually can't be 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one's at least 5, and this one's at least 2. That is 7. So once I figured out that this thing can't be 8 or 9, actually it has to be 7, because we know the sum's at least 7 as a 5 and a 2, giving me the 5 and the 7 down there. Let's see, this column seems to be missing a 7. And no, not a 9. What's the other one? A 6? Yeah, a 6. I don't know why I saw the 7 before the 6. Probably because I was just thinking about those. Let's see. Here we're missing a 1 and a 4. Useless, all of you. There we go. 1 and 4. Let's see. What about in this box? I see that the 5 goes here by Sudoku. Maybe I should try this bold new Sudoku craze that everyone is going for. What is left here? This seems like another 6. I see that the 5 in row 7 can't go here because of that, nor can the 6. So these two are a 5-6 pair, and I know the order. That's a 7. Let's see. Can I place all the 7s now? I'd better be able to. Have I already placed all the 7s? No, but now I have. Let's see. These are a 5 and a 6, and we know the order. This column needs a 1, and I still don't know where it goes. I was very optimistic I was going to. Let's see. One of these is a 3, and the other is a 4, leaving a 2 left in this box, leaving a 3 left in the column. Okay, so these are now a 1 and a 2, actually. Good. So this row, 2, 3, needs a 4. Sorting out my 1, 4 that I had pencil marked before. I know that one of these is a 1, and it's that one, and that one's a 3. One of these two is a 4, and it's that one, and the other one is a 5, and it's that one. And these two, one of them's a 3, so it's that one, and one of them is a 6, so it's that one. That was a lovely, lovely puzzle there from Pallando. So I hope you also enjoyed that. I didn't actually say at the beginning, there's a link in the description. But anyway, I hope you did try it for yourself. But I hope you learned something and enjoyed that. That was a really beautiful puzzle there. that I am probably going to throw a link to in my packet. If Pallando allows me, I should ask Pallando if I can. But that is one of the nicest intro arrow puzzles I've ever seen. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And I'll see everyone next time on Invitation to Puzzles. Bye for now.